How can I find the volume for a complex rectangular prism? For example, in real life, you will see many constructions where multiple rectangular prisms are joined together. In this lesson, you will find the volume of complex figures by deconstructing and adding the volumes of simpler prisms using the volume formula. You will know that the volume of prisms can get big really fast when the dimensions are increased at the same rate. And you also know how to use division to find missing dimensions when you know the total volume. A common mistake students make is they may count the faces or forget about hidden layers when looking at complex rectangular prisms like the one you see on the screen. They may overgeneralize the volume formula and think that it can only be used with regular rectangular prisms. One way to figure out the volume of complex figures is to deconstruct the volume into two smaller prisms, calculate the volume of each of the smaller prisms, and add them together to find the total volume. This drawing shows that there's more than one way to deconstruct this complex prism. Let's choose this way to deconstruct the complex prism and compute the volume. So if we think about it divided up into the green cube and the blue rectangular prism that you see, then we would use the volume formula multiplying lengths times width times height for each of the smaller prisms. So for the green cube, we'd multiply 2 times 2 times 2, and for the blue rectangular prism, we'd multiply 2 times 4 times 2. And then that would give us a volume of 8 cubic units and 16 cubic units to add together, which would be 24 inches cubed in all. If we wanted to, though, there's another way that we could approach finding the volume of complex rectangular prisms. It involves remembering that volumes can also be subtracted. Enclosing the figure that you see on the screen inside a regular rectangular prism and then subtracting the part that's not there will result in finding the total volume of a complex rectangular prism in a different way. So if we enclose this complex prism in a 4 by 2 by 4 prism, the volume would be 32 cubic units. Then you could subtract out that missing 2 by 2 by 2 cubic unit and find that the total volume is 24 cubic inches. Let's look at one more example. Here's a complex rectangular prism with a missing piece. If we add in this 4 by 2 by 1, we'd end up with a regular rectangular prism that's 4 units by 4 units by 2 units, or 32 cubic units. Then we could subtract out that 8 cubic unit piece, and we'd end up with the 24 cubic units. In this lesson, you have found the volume of complex figures by deconstructing and adding volumes of simpler prisms using the volume formula.